it would never be like that. You see what I'm saying is that it wouldn't actually be like that at all. What they should, because if they're doing it in an imperialistic fashion, yes, you don't do it in an imperialistic fashion. It shouldn't be the United States calling that. The United States would be okay. The United States would like literally be. Do we have Wi-Fi? Yeah, we should have Wi-Fi. It should be. It should be it would be people in the United States calling to dissolve the United States. Obviously, you'd have to get rid of the entity of the United States as it is, right? You see what I mean? So in that sense, it's not. You see, I mean, hopefully you understand what I mean. It wouldn't be the United States would have to be calling for its own dissolution, and if it did that, it wouldn't be considered imperialism, right? So this is why I don't think that is a problem. I mean, it's not happening. That is a problem. The problem is that's not happening, but it's not. I don't think it's politically unviable. I think it can very much work. I really don't see why it couldn't. So yeah, it's supposedly I'm streaming at this point. Alright, so here we go. Ideally I'd put it closer. Ideally I'd have that more complicated system where I get on the stand and stuff, so that way I can I'll put a thing under it so that will make it lean more. How can I get it to? Okay, I guess I'll just have to accept to put this on the floor. Like that, and now I can put it closer. Bring it closer so we get closer to the action. Right? Like this should be pretty good. Okay, can we see the inside of the pan here? I think I'll pull the curtains back. The lighting is actually better like this, I think. Right? So this is not bad. It's not bad. How about if I get it even closer and then I'll get the other side? Oh no. Okay. Can't do it because then it just falls over. Okay, so this is the max. Okay. I'll actually go for the big pan. Should I go for the even bigger one? This is the same. Yeah, I'll just go for this one. Okay. Here we go. Are you ready? I think I'll just use oil for this one. This cooking oil. I'm actually not sure. Yeah, I don't necessarily prefer butter with eggs. I think butter is really great with mushrooms. Butter's really great with mushrooms. I'm not really into butter with meat either. I'm really into butter with starch, with vegetables, basically. Well, not vegetables, but like starches and.
No nation is going to give sovereignty to another nation willingly.
But it's not giving it to another. They're all giving. See, it's not one nation giving sovereignty to another. It's about all nations collectively, like the United European Union, right? Is they collectively give up individual sovereignty, to in the name of creating a global system instead, right? It's not about. I actually put too much oil in here, so I'm gonna remove some of it. It'd be a shame to waste it, so instead I'll put
Egg scrambling based.
Yeah. So you see what I mean? I'm not talking. It's not about any specific nation giving up its sovereignty for any other else's, right? That's not how it's working. That's not what I'm saying. That is imperialism. That is not what we're talking about. Okay, we gotta get the eggs. I've gotta get the eggs. Where are the eggs? Okay, here are the eggs. So what we can actually do, the good thing with scrambled eggs is you don't even have
China is never going to let a united world happen.
except that, yeah, but China's an authoritarian government, but if the Chinese people are made to realize that this government is actually not helping them, that if you have a united world, they'll be better off, then the Chinese people can, demonstrate until the government has to cede, right? That is what needs to be done. You don't think that China is just going to persist for millions of years, right? I mean, come on, at some point it's going to become undone, right? So, so this one is just like fried eggs. Now I just gotta find my utensils. Unfortunately, I started this a bit too fast. I don't have the gear. Crap, where's the gear? There's no... Why is there not? Okay, so this is going to be somewhat different. Okay, there we go. That was very rapid. And there you have it.
The CCP has been around for 100 years. I think it will still be here the next 100.
I think it likely won't, and it shouldn't, certainly. And again, you shouldn't be pessimistic like that. Things can change, and things can change dramatically. You know, you shouldn't be expecting pessimism, right? You shouldn't be expecting that things will be
OMG, that is not how you make eggs.
Look, this is the sort of simple scrambled egg version, okay? This is the sort of basic scrambled eggs with the sort of heterogeneous version. Sort of just a mixed kind of egg and just sort of bit. Then you can have the more omelet style. Yeah, but the problem is I wasn't thinking. But I shouldn't have made 3. I should have made 1 egg. I wasn't thinking. It's silly that I made 3 eggs. It's definitely edible. Definitely, that's the good thing with eggs. You can make them any way. You can make them any old way, and they'll always come out okay. They'll always come out okay. They'll always be sort of, always will taste sort of like something, relatively edible. So, yeah, that was pretty good, I think. I'll make 1 more egg where I try it, where you stir it first. That's the thing, I don't have much experience making scrambled eggs, so this is what I wanted to try. I wanted to try the scrambled egg because it was not something I'm familiar with. Again, you shouldn't, again, I'm not really interested in saying how the world does work. I'm not interested in sort of looking at, whether certain entities don't want to really push their power or not. If people, I believe that people's minds can change, and, and things can change a lot, and you shouldn't just expect things to keep on being the way they've been, and you shouldn't try to be sort of realistic, quote, because, trying to think that everything's just going to stay the same in the name of realism. It's not necessarily realistic. I don't think it's realistic to think that you believe in stasis, I guess. That's the thing, people believe in stasis, and they think that they're being realistic, but actually that's not necessarily true. And they also think that being pessimistic is realistic, and like for no good reason. They talk about the sort of human nature argument and stuff, and I think it's just kind of it's silly. It's silly. So yeah. In any case, look, if I'm able to recognize that these things are good, and other people are able to recognize that it's good, like why is it not possible for these things to happen? It is possible for these things to happen. That there's no reason it can't work. There's no essential, fundamental reason for it to be impossible. A bit of fish sauce here, give it a bit more taste. A bit of vinegar also would be good, I think. We can do it like this. Oh, this is gonna be hard. Okay. So salt, pepper, fish sauce, vinegar. One egg. This time mixing it first. We'll see how this turns out. And this time just one egg. How stupid to make all those eggs.
Nature vs. nurture.
Yeah, and you say for some reason that comment didn't come out. The CCP has an iron grip on the Chinese people. Yeah, of course, but they, people in China, they've got things like, they do have access to outside information. They can get like VPNs and stuff, so they can see stuff from the outside. Onions and eggs, yeah, but I don't want to make the problems that I agree.
Onions and eggs go so well together.
I know, but it just was a hassle to actually get an onion. Like your garlic would have been good, but like again, I don't want to make things more difficult for myself. So okay, and I think we're already ready at this point. There we go. Okay, now I'm spreading it out all over. And this is really making just an omelet. But now I'm mixing it around. To make scrambled eggs instead. And there, and that's done.
I think it human nature that the world ended up how it is now.
But it's done, that doesn't mean anything. Like, lots of good things have happened. The world has been improving tremendously compared to the past. So, like, literally, this human nature argument it's silly. Like, human nature is lots of different things. And human nature also can be, it's very malleable. And in any case, if there is such a thing as human nature, they should change it. Like I've said, through transhumanistic genetic engineering. We should change human nature. If human nature is wrong, then let's change human nature. Right? Okay, good. Okay, so this was pretty good. And definitely it tastes fish sauce. It's a little bit gross, but it's also kind of unique and definitely quite tasty. Human nature has created democracy. Human nature has led to humans, creating all sorts of marvels of technology and science. It also leads to tons of people already supporting, basic income and stuff like I'm saying. There's been lots of different types of societies. This is pretty good. This is definitely pretty good. Is it better than this version? Not really. Hard to say. It just tastes here because there's more salt. This one just needs more salt and pepper. It's good. Yeah. No, that's pretty good. Pretty good. Well, I think I'm sort of had enough at this point. The problem is that scrambled eggs is not. You saw me do an experimental thing. If you looked at, I can do other stuff better. I can do cut better. I can do fried eggs, boiled, poached, whatever. All that stuff I can do better. But scrambled is not so much something that I'm very familiar with. So as a result, it's well, it's interesting to compare the two. So yeah, it doesn't. I don't think it really matters if you. I don't think it really matters. I don't know what happened to those utensils. They just disappeared. No idea. I have no idea what any of this stuff is for cooking here. But so I just used the handle. Oh, here it is.
Maybe in 20 years we will have a united world. Are you a millionaire? You bought free-range eggs.
What? I bought free-range eggs. Did I? Oh yeah. It's not that expensive. What, you buy them in cage? That's horrible. You buy literally chickens that are like kept in cages? Yeah, if we in 20 years, so you recognize that stuff can actually happen. You recognize that can be done. Yeah, it's not about it's the way things are
Yes,
looking
I'm
now.
not vegan.
It's not looking like it's going to happen anytime soon, right? It's not looking like it's going to happen anytime soon. But it definitely is possible. I mean, do you really think that in a billion years from now, there's still going to be the countries like we know them now? Do you really think it's just going to be like, I don't know, people tend to think that the world is going to just stay the way they've known it. Yes, you say, yes, you're not vegan. Yeah, neither am I. Okay, neither am I, but you should still care, but I think you should be. And definitely, once we can get meat products to be, animal products to be produced just like in the lab, then we should definitely ban getting products from animals, right? Like if you can just grow your steak in, just on its own, and not have to take it from the body of an animal, then you should absolutely do that.
I didn't know the chickens are caged.
Well, if basically free range, when they here in New Zealand, when they say free range, it literally just means.
But the 20-year to get theater will be bloody.
No, it's not bloody. Again, no. If it's bloody, then it's gonna not work. It's not gonna work. If you say it's bloody, then it's not gonna work. Okay, so this is pasture farm, so it's not just free range. This is actually pasture farmed. The problem with pasture farming is that it's actually less environmentally friendly in reality. It's nicer for the chickens themselves, but it's not necessarily great for the environment because it takes up more space. You're suddenly devoting a huge amount of like space and stuff for your activity. There's been like various studies that show that extensive farming is actually more harmful than intensive farming, precisely because it takes up more space for the same amount of stuff produced. So in reality, even though per unit area it does less because it takes up a lot more area, it ends up being more harmful. So again, what we've got to do is just stop producing meat the way we've been doing it. Stop producing animal products from animals. Just have tissues get grown in the lab, right? This is what I mean. Not in a factory. Just have vats that grow your food and stuff like that. That's the way of the future. And they've already been making foods like that. And apparently in Singapore, they're already serving food that is grown, that is made artificially like that. And that really is absolutely the way to go. And
Okay, interesting. Would you grow the meat in a laboratory or in space?
in the lab, yeah, potentially, like even some activities could get grown in space. The problem is that like sending stuff to space and like back and forth is like very energy costly. So no,
Artificial meat is no bueno.
No, it is bueno. For now. For now, we can't. For now, okay, it's sort of right at the beginning, right? So it's still not great, but it's gonna improve.
I'll stick with tofu, bro.
No, it's gonna be. You'll taste it, and they'll be like, okay, yeah, I'm not sticking with tofu. I mean, look at the crap you eat already.
STRNG95 tofu is gross.
Look at already the crap that people eat all the time, all the crappy processed foods, and then nobody bats an eye. Once people, once this kind of stuff gets made, everybody's
Tofu
just
and
gonna.
eggs is really good.
Tofu and eggs is really good. Yeah. I should have made just one. It's stupid. I made 3 eggs for that first batch of scrambled eggs. But my problem I find with scrambled eggs is it's really hard to get them to not be overcooked.
You don't
actually.
even notice the difference because they have the same consistency.
Oh, between tofu and between tofu and eggs?
Blood must be the foundation to a utopia, or else the utopia will not last. It has to be that way, or it will be corrupted from the inside out and rotting.
I disagree. I disagree. I think that's a nasty. I think it's a nasty foundation to your thing. It's a nasty way to start out. I mean, it can work. I don't mean that it can't work that way. But I would say it's much, if you can avoid it, it's much better, and it's much nicer, and it's not actually corrupting. I think I would say it's more likely to be corrupt if it's like that, if it's done violently, with I mean, come on, this is like murder you're talking about, like literally. You think that it gets corrupted if it's not implemented with murder? Come on, no. What if people just voluntarily together agree to do this? Your blood thing is absurd, right? Your blood thing is this is so weird. This is so weird. What other things do you believe in? Like, do you support sort of? I don't know. I just don't. I don't see why you're like pro-violent revolution. This is not something good. Okay, I know that like Marxism has this sort of revolutionary stuff and this idea that's not possible. This is based on like your Marxist ideas, right? But like, I don't even support Marxism anyway, right? I support market economies. I support basically the kind of economy we have now, but just limiting inequalities through basic income and income and wealth caps. So it just seems kind of absurd.
I hope a revolution happens.
Yeah, and I really don't. I really don't. What I want to see happen is not that. You can just literally, you can reform the system. All you need.
All utopias are imaginary. It would be nice to have everything your way.
Yeah, but by definition, yeah, because utopia means that it means that it doesn't exist. But the point is that it's stupid to call any good thing utopian with a U. You should call it utopia EU, which means a good place instead of a non-place, which what the U means. Okay, so yeah, by definition, then you just anything you don't like, you say anything that doesn't exist yet, you say it's utopian. Then by definition, it's sort of it's basically you're defining it to mean something that doesn't exist. Okay, so obviously that doesn't exist from that perspective. But that's silly. Yeah, it would be nice to have everything the way you want it. Why don't we just do it? Why don't we just actually make things better? Really, it's absurd. Why don't we just make things better? Why do we accept to just keep things bad? You know, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make any sense. So, okay, one thing that we saw is because there's a short cooking time with this stuff, adding the fish sauce is not really all that great because it tastes too much like the fresh fish sauce. What you could add is the less strong, but it's called garum or colatura di alici, which is the less strong fish sauce. I add a bit of vinegar. It's not bad with a bit of vinegar. I think it gives a bit of more zing. Definitely. I think this is pretty good. I would say this is pretty good. I don't know if there's anything else we could add maybe to this, but I'd say this is not bad. Like, yeah, of course, onions. You know, if I had like some just already pre-cooked onions and garlic, I would add that maybe. And but since I don't want to bother with that, this is good. Mustard I could have added. A bit of mustard would be good. Yeah, I'll think about that for the next one. A bit of mustard. Definitely. Yeah, that means anything that doesn't exist yet is a utopia, which means that you can literally, any policy that you want to implement is a utopia at this point. Okay? So like literally, according to your logic, you just can't do anything. You just have to, it's just a complete status quoist argument, right? It's just It is an argument saying that it's just a completely static vision of the way things work, which is not actually...
Show us
doesn't...
Eggs Benedict.
I don't know how to make Eggs Benedict. I don't know. C'est comment?
C'est un truc hyper américain.
Ideally, a bloody revolution would happen.
No.
ID, just watch.
Why ideally? I don't understand. Why do you think you'd just be able to just watch? Like, okay, that's in your ideal scenarios that you'd be able to just watch. But why? Like, why? That's so weird. That's so weird. Who do you want to... And plus there's two of you arguing for this. I'm not even sure you would agree on the same kind of things. What? Why? Why do you think that there's inherently corruption if there isn't a bloody revolution? Why do you think there's not going to be? And we've seen that there have been bloody revolutions in places, and the places end up plenty corrupt after bloody revolutions. Okay, so it's not like that's a guarantee against corruption. I would say the places that are least corrupt are the places that have seen the least revolutions in a long time. You could argue that it's precisely the places that tend to have lots of revolutions that are the most corrupt, right? We kind of know this, right? Like in Latin America, which always experienced tons of revolutions, there's also hyper-corrupt. Bloody revolutions go hand in hand with corruption. So no, I utterly disagree with this. Utterly disagree. And anyway, it's horrible, right? You don't want to kill anyone. Tu veux goûter? Non? Un petit peu. Une bouchée. Ça va me faire plaisir. Attends. Je filme pas sur toi, non? Ouais.
Non.
Mais faut faire gaffe, hein, parce que des fois ça peut aller dans l'autre sens.
Ouais.
Moi j'appuie un bouton et puis ça flippe le truc et puis du coup il te voit.
C'est quoi?
C'est des œufs à bruit?
Un brouillé?
Ouais? Non, c'est bien.
Ouais, c'est bon.
J'ai mal fait.
Non, c'est bon.
Avec sel, poivre et vinaigre.
It has to be a revolution because the government is faking election results.
But no, no. If there's proper electoral integrity, if there's proper, verification from all sorts of observers and stuff, why did you not have the trust? I mean, they probably. I mean, if you don't trust election results, that means they're already faking them now. Like, I don't know why you're. Like, it precisely. Yeah, I don't know.
I wish blood is avoidable, but to think that everyone will just agree to this open economy with a wealth cap is just wishful.
Of course, not
thinking.
everybody would agree, but like, the way politics works is that some people
integrity
disagree and you
whatsoever.
accept.
Just
What?
look at the last election.
What do you mean? Do you think there was massive non-integrity? There's plenty of. Overall, there's pretty lots of integrity. There's Trump that.
Clearly won.
Okay, Boston, can you ban this idiot? Boston, can you completely just destroy this subhuman?
Wait.
Destroy something fort, mais...
Let me explain.
I don't want you to explain. He was look, no, like, it's not interesting. It's not interesting to me. You're an idiot. Okay, you're a massive idiot. Just go away.
Non, t'as pas besoin de dire comme ça.
No, I think I do. Okay, I'm not a nice person. I'm not a nice person. I'm not nice towards idiocy and towards evil. Okay. Somebody followed me. Who followed
The
me?
fact that Hillary beat Bernie Sanders for Democratic candidate made me no longer believe in election results.
Well,
Stoner proved my point, you see.
okay, yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for banning. I'm not interested in idiots. No, yeah, but there's no violence. The point is that you didn't prove the point. The point is that normally in countries that work. Oh no, am I getting fake follows? Wait, who is this? Oh, just Silverbox. Who's the previous follow? Oh, we're so you actually followed me? Like, why? You banned him and you followed me? What is that about? Why? Why would he follow me? Why would he follow me? Like, literally, you banned him and you followed me? Why? Why? But anyway, that is, no, that's, you lose elections, but you don't. It's not like everybody always engages in violent revolutions every time they lose an election. Like sometimes people disagree with this stuff, but they just take it, you know. So you don't have to have everyone agree with a new policy for it to happen without violence. Like, no, you don't. You just don't need it. And if you've got a majority of people that agree with it, then you just make it happen through democracy. And then if there are people who resist, then they will be the ones who are starting the violence. And then, of course, you can repress any sort of attempts at violence or whatever, right? If people start forming militias, you break them up, right? If the people actually do violent acts, you send them to jail. Yeah, so you can do that. You know, you catch them, put them to jail, break up any sort of terrorist groups or whatever. You can do that, but you don't have to have like a violent revolution. Like, it makes no sense. If you got a majority of the population, just do things. You know, then you just do. I think that's what you need. So what you really need is just to get the majority of the population on board with whatever you want to do. If the majority of the population isn't on board with what you want to do, then violence is not going to be a solution either, usually. Especially if you want to do a revolution which is going to benefit the poor people, which also have less power overall. You know, if you do that, then you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose.
January 6th, 21.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But that was an isolated incident. It's not supposed to happen. It doesn't happen in most rich, developed countries, and it didn't actually lead to anything. And
It's not the majority of the population.
yeah, it's not the majority of the population. They wouldn't have won. They wouldn't have done anything. Okay, they couldn't have actually. Like, what would have happened? It wouldn't. Nothing. Like, if they'd actually overtaken like Congress and stuff, do you really think that the whole United States would just change and become ruled by this mob that took over Congress? Like, no, it wouldn't have, right? You'd have had then much more intervention. You'd have had like the army going in or something or whatever. It wouldn't have actually destroyed the country to do this. Okay, like if they'd sort of succeeded, like, I don't know, even if they'd succeeded in completely taking over the building and killing all the representatives and stuff, it wouldn't have actually like meant that they now ruled the country, you know. So no. I think that there's a tendency for doing that, but it's not inevitable. That's the point, and we've got to avoid that happening. That's not a good thing if that happens, and it certainly is not an indication that has to happen if you want a proper change. And they did that, but that isn't a sort of usual occurrence. So that's kind of it. I think there's not really much more than that to say, I think.
Dans un pays qui est vraiment...
Yeah, but symbolic they would have won.
Yeah, but that's just, no, they wouldn't have. They would have seemed just like idiots, and they would have had even much more harsher sentencing.
C'est comme Hillary Clinton qui avait 3 millions de votes plus et qui n'a pas gagné.
Ouais.
Donc, et ça, c'était le rule.
Ouais.
Donc,
So, yeah, I don't know. They wouldn't have won symbolically. No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't have won symbolically. Like, people would have hated them even a lot more. Then they really couldn't claim that it was just like a peaceful thing and like it wasn't all that bad, right? It really would have been much, much worse, and there'd be much more backlash. So you can't do that. And then there would be like, it actually would have been much better in a way if they'd done that, because then that might have actually led to like the dissolution even of the Republican Party potentially. If there'd really been something very violent, I mean, there would have potentially been a lot more soul searching. It's hard to say, because, you know, then if something happens that normalizes that also at the same time.
Trump could have called in martial law if they had killed Pence.
Yeah, but he couldn't have called martial law. I mean, it would have created a mess. It would have created a mess for sure. Okay, but he couldn't like. Yeah, that would have been a different sort of scenario in any case. So yeah, in any case, yeah, and that's also a problem with U.S. law, maybe, and the U.S. definitely has problems in its laws, and that needs to be changed. But the whole point, I'm just arguing against your idea that there needs to be a revolution, and otherwise things are bad. Like, revolutions can exist, that's not, I'm not denying that. I'm saying this idea that any change that doesn't happen through a deadly revolution isn't a good change.
A mess into martial law into keeping the presidency.
Yeah, I really don't think that would be accepted at that point. I don't think he could do that. I really don't think he could do that. There'd still have to be elections. There can't be that kind of martial law. So, yeah. Okay, I think I've finished cooking at this point. I think it's actually easier to make an omelet than it is to make scrambled eggs. Should we make one more egg, and that will be an omelet? Okay. I don't really see this is sort of basic cooking, especially since we've already got this egg thing there. Kind of makes sense to do that. Okay, so this time we're making an omelet. This is going to be our 5th and final egg. Okay, so 1 egg. And some pepper, some salt.
How many eggs did you cook today?
5. Instead. How about some soy sauce? Vinegar, mustard. Just mustard, actually. If I've got mustard, I don't need vinegar. This off the heat so it doesn't get too hot. Okay, so salt, pepper, mustard. Salt, pepper, and mustard. There we go.
I cooked 2 fried eggs sunny side up today with toast.
Okay, that's good. Was it good? Did you enjoy it? Okay, now it's getting hot, so I put it in. For some reason, it actually isn't making the kind of noise I was thinking. So for some reason, because I'm not used to it. With the gas stove, it feels hotter than it is with than when it feels with the other stove. So actually, I was underheating, and this is why I didn't have quite the effect I was hoping. So this is one thing I'm going to have to learn, is the issue of these different stoves. So it actually wasn't hot enough. Okay, so at this point it's actually done. Okay, there we go. This is the omelet. Not bad. It's actually already overcooked. This is the biggest issue with these things.
Are you a politician, IRL?
No, of course not. I don't want to be. I couldn't be, because what I want to do is not stuff that, like you said, it's not viable as a politician. Which is why I'm doing this instead. Otherwise, I would do that. No, I said I'm a doctor,
Not
right?
just silver, but he's a doctor.
Yeah. Nah, this is overcooked. It's overcooked, but the problem is that the heat it wasn't hot enough. So for it to brown on the outside like I wanted, I had to leave it on for longer, and as a result, that ended up overcooking it. So, what you need, yeah, this is really important for eggs. The pan has to be nice and hot so that the bottom can get browned, while at the same time you've got the top which still stays a bit liquid.
What kind of doctor?
Well, no kind. I did a 1 year of radiology residency, so if I continue, then I would eventually become a radiologist. Otherwise, the seasoning was good. So salt, pepper, soy sauce, pepper, mustard. Seasoning is definitely was good, recommended.
I like liquid yolk.
Yeah, I do too. So here, my big issue with all these eggs actually was that I'm not used to the gas stove. And so actually it felt hotter than it was because the heat comes up on the side, unlike the,
So
other
you
stuff.
deal with cancer.
No, that's radio oncology, which is actually separate. I mean, often radio oncologists start off often going into radiology, but then they branch radically into radio oncology, which is really something different. But you do deal with cancer just because you look at cancer patients, and see like what's going on with them. But radiology is about looking. It's imaging. It's actually not. It's medical imaging is a better term. So yeah. So man, this is a pain. I kind of screwed up. I almost want to do a sixth one just so that we can.
I like to dip my toast in egg yolk.
You like to dip your toast? Oh, I thought you were toes. I was like, this is weird. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that I can understand. The toes would be weird. But toast, yes. Toast, absolutely. Okay, we've got to try last one to make it actually work. All of mine so far have been a failure. So this time I'll have one finally that is a success. Okay? That we'll know how to do it specifically here. And so here's really important. Yeah, it's to get the proper heat. We need lots of heat. Otherwise it doesn't work properly. Okay, so pepper, salt, soy sauce, mustard,
So what you eating for dinner tonight?
more eggs. Look, I don't know. No idea. This is breakfast right now, so I don't know. First I'll have to figure out lunch. Yeah, see, I'm used to gauging temperatures based on my other types of pans, so yeah. Okay. So egg. This has to be hot. Normally I like to not make it smoke, but this time I'm really going to have to let it start smoking a bit so that I know that it's hot enough.
I used to grow mustard.
Oh, really?
Purple mustard leaves taste better than the bottled version.
Well, I like these mustards. I like Coleman's. Coleman's taste good. Okay, now it's smoking, so... Okay, so here, you got it. Ah, you're not seeing it, are you? There we go. Okay. say, like that. And I'm in New Zealand right now. I'm not from New Zealand, but I'm in New Zealand. And even that I think was too long, but you see how incredibly short that was? See how that has already done at this point? That is what it's supposed to be, so you get a bit runny. It's still a bit runny like this. This is better. But unfortunately, I still failed. It's still not runny enough. And the reason this time is because I left it cook too long while I was trying to tilt the camera. I was trying to tilt the camera so you could see it. And unfortunately, I blew it.
Lord of the Rings. Bottled mustard is just grinded up seeds, vinegar, and a little water.
Can you see the inside of the pan like this? Yeah. But definitely better. Definitely better. But yeah, the way to do it, again, so you can see every time, you can learn from my mistakes here. I think I've done enough at this point, but yeah, just really remember, put it on high heat and then cook it for a very brief time. That is kind of when you're making like scrambled eggs or omelet, that is the take-home message. Like very brief, like you can cook it for like 15 seconds, like literally. That's the sort of the time. That's the time frame. It's literally that's it. And what it does if you spread it out the good way. Should we make a last one? Okay, we'll make a last one, and this one will be the perfect. It'll be an omelet, a good omelet. Oops, what am I doing? Okay, put the heat back on. This is the 7th egg. A bit of oil, not too much. There we go. Spread it around. Again, so soy sauce, pepper, mustard, So yeah, I'm in New Zealand. Yeah, I'm not from not really from New Zealand, but
By the
sort
end,
of.
you will have eaten a dozen eggs.
Yeah, it's looking like it. But yeah, anyway, I'm not from New Zealand. I already lived in New Zealand as a kid for a year and a half. And now I'm back here. I got some family here. Okay, so here we go. This time I'm gonna do it right. So I spread it, and there, it's off. It's off. Literally, it's off right now. That's it. And look, it's still runny. I took it off the heat, and now I'm folding it. And I've got it on the plate. There we go. That is it. There, so it's this one, the closer one to you. Now it doesn't look great, but definitely tastes good. And now I've got some runniness in it, see? This is the good thing.
2 to 3 eggs from the hens in my backyard.
I like that hens are back there. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have that. Never had that. Had some neighbors that had hens, but they only like gave us one egg over 10 years. So, 20 years. Okay, that was better. Was better. Still not runny enough. This is always the problem I get with omelets. Omelets and scrambled eggs is that it always gets, there's not enough runny egg. Yeah. It's sort of hard to know exactly what should be done. I think the best solution there is to like literally just do it even sooner. Even sooner you just fold it up. That's like literally, that's like it. But certainly taste wise it's good. Certainly the taste is good, just the texture a bit overcooked. But that's enough eggs for now. Whoa, I mean that was 6 eggs. 7 eggs, because I didn't eat all of them, so it's 6, I ate 6.5 eggs. I was hoping my parents would eat some, but apparently they're not interested, so I ended up eating them all instead.
Have you had odors before?
I don't even know what that is. What is that? Oh man. Oh man. Whoa, I really need a shave. Look at that. Look at that. Looks like I got some crud here. Okay, now putting everything back where it's supposed to go. So here we can see what it was like. Especially the eggs. Especially the eggs.
It is an egg omelet over rice.
Oh, okay. I might have had that. I don't think so, but that sounds good, yeah. I mean, I sort of know about the concept. Oh, I can see myself. That's weird. I saw myself on my computer, looking at the computer. Okay. Let's see. Maybe I should flip the camera. Okay. All right, back to whereas before. Back to the computer. All right. There we are. Okay, so wait, I gotta stop this and go live.